Hello there.
How's it going, Wolf?
Good. How's it going, DJ?
It's going good for a Friday arvo. Can't complain.
Friday arvo? Yes, I keep forgetting it's Friday. I keep thinking it's like Wednesday or something.
It does feel, it's a bit like that. It's just been a bit of a weird week, I think.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, it's like, this weather, it's been a bit,
Yeah, well, it's definitely dreary today.
Yeah.
But anyway, so people seem to enjoy our last podcast. And our last kind of, musings and talkings, which is cool because we're just a couple of guys talking about things,
Yeah.
So thanks for everyone who listened.
Yeah. I reckon this is a good opportunity to maybe get out the tobacco pipe. Yeah.
We do need more pipes in the podcast studio.
Yeah.
Anyone listening, if they want to send us like a nice like corn cob pipe or like, please get in touch and we'll get you a PO box or something.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it'll be much appreciated.
Much appreciated.
But anyway, social media.
Yeah, so we were kind of just discussing before we started recording about what we wanted to chat about this week, and we kind of landed on social media because Wolf you watched The Social Network this week, right?
Yes.
Was that the first time you saw that?
No, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I do think like with the movie or the film is quite good, like the way like it's sort of like a non-narrative, like it goes back and forth between the various lawsuits that Mark Zuckerberg was undergoing and like the actual genesis and how he got the idea for Facebook and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I also like how it doesn't really glorify, like it. I mean, it does. Don't go into this movie thinking that it won't be, a product placement for Facebook and advertising because it's going to be that. But but it doesn't also. It's not like it just puts Mark Zuckerberg on this massive pedestal, or even Sean Parker, because they are dicks. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that they're particularly bad people.
Right.
It's just like they are. I mean, I remember seeing a meme of Mark Zuckerberg, and I kind of agree with it. It's kind of funny where it's like he kind of looks like now like he's a zombie. And he's nervous about telling people, and he's trying really hard not to bite people. And that's basically, that's a good analogy for what social media can kind of do to people, where it's like, people do sort of become zombies by being sucked into these like echo chambers, or like the analogy that I came up with is like, so although I do think like online platform it is getting better, but I think it's because more people are realizing that you can go on the internet and you can start just being a dick to people, random strangers, and have zero accountability. But the more you do that, you're sort of just digging your own hole, and like you've just created a sphere where it's just like where it is quite negative because
totally, and that's even without getting into talking about algorithms that are designed to literally just show you the things you want to see and engage with. So that's without even that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both in our 30s, so we kind of saw, at least in Australia, the emergence of the internet. And we grew up with the internet in different forms than what it's used now.
I've often spoken or have conversations with people that are like in the same age bracket. And it is such a weird time to be alive. Totally. Because like we're young enough to like understand what it's like to have grown up with the internet, but we're old enough to remember what it was like before. Which is
totally
like I remember when I was a kid, like there was still things like blacksmiths and shit. Like you know what I mean?
Yep.
You don't see them anymore.
If you do, you see them on YouTube.
Like you see them on YouTube, or they're just like a thing you see in a video game or something like that. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's like, but I remember when. Places like Toys R Us was still relevant, and
do you remember Casey's Toy World? Do you remember that place?
I don't remember that. Where was that?
It was in Lake Macquarie somewhere, and it burnt down. It was a big fire in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, right.
But it was this place. It was kind of like a non-commercialized Toys R Us, you know what I mean? It was still like, it was family owned, but it was just this warehouse filled with every toy you could think of, man.
Yeah, right.
And like, I remember walking into places like that, even places like Toys R Us when I was a kid, and just being in awe. You know what I mean? It was magical, bro.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was, but now obviously
you don't have that.
They don't exist because online, digital, or online shopping is more of a thing now.
Totally. You can literally research every facet of what you are going to buy before you buy it, which some would say that's not a bad thing as a consumer, but it did take away a bit of the mystery and a bit of the wonderment.
Yeah.
Out of things.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You've got places like Costco now, which is.
It's kind of like a 30-year-old's Toys R Us.
Yeah. I mean, you go in there, you see everything from weird limited edition cereal boxes of Fruit Loops, which is basically just regular Fruit Loops, but it's like a novelty thing. I actually bought 2 today. Two of them, one to eat and one to just keep as like a relic.
Mad. I support that.
Yeah, that's what adulting is.
That's adulting. And when you play like Fallout and stuff like that, and there's a post-apocalyptic world, and you break into someone's house to rummage for supplies, and there's like a 100-year-old box of cereal, that's going to be Jack's house.
Yeah.
You'll be getting his memorabilia that he kept. It's going to sustain you in the apocalypse.
Yeah, and in fact, like when I die, like I kind of hope to have my corpse like locked into a time capsule with like all these relics, like the Fruit Loops, my handbag thing, or not a handbag, but laptop bag.
Handbag.
Yeah. Well, like
it's kind of a handbag, I guess.
Well,
a man bag.
Man bag. Yeah, handbag.
See, when you died, what I was planning on doing was like getting your like a really nice coffin, right? And like
from Costco.
From Costco, yeah. And you're going to be in the coffin. Everyone's going to be around. They're going to be crying, right? But then we fill the whole coffin with milk and cereal, and everybody eats cereal out of your coffin, and it's kind of like a way to say goodbye to you,
I mean, if you want it, like, have you ever thought about subjecting to cannibalism?
Thought about it. Done it. Who knows? I'm a mystery.
I'll just put this out there. Okay. You're more than welcome to eat me.
Okay.
If I die
after you're dead.
Yeah, after I'm dead. After I'm dead.
Yeah.
After, mate.
We'll make that very clear. He's got to be dead first.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Like, dead me, alive me. Like, you don't want to eat me while I'm alive. Like, there'll be a lot of screaming and a lot of me complaining about that. And
the dying part.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah. I mean, you basically. Is there how many? There's like steps that you undergo before dying.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I feel
it's like bargaining,
and then you're angry about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
last one's acceptance.
Yeah. Although, I've often thought about that. Like, what if you die like suddenly? Like, do you just go through all those within like a split second?
The last 10 seconds of your life is the most anxiety-inducing shit you've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Just every emotion at once.
Well, I suppose it is. It's like
kinda.
Like, I don't know. There's been a few times when I've played cards, and someone just hits me with like a really like devastating move, and it's just like oh shit. It's kind of like that, where it's like you just feel shock, amazement, anger, sadness, and just
and I'll play cards with you. I know this is true.
Yeah. It's like it's that kind of I suppose it's a little bit like that.
It's like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
tangents.
Social media.
Is it good? Is it bad? We don't know. No, we do know. I don't know, but I can have my opinion. What we're talking about before. Okay, look, let me walk it back a little bit. Indulge me for a second, Wolf. So, as we're saying, back we saw the dawn of the internet when we had to unplug the phone, plug the internet in, dial it up.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I started playing some of the really early online games. There's a thing called Virtual Pets, which was a really early MMO.
I haven't heard of that.
It was cool. You know, and I sort of went on some of the early forums of the day, which were just kind of people hosting a website, and then it would become a forum, you know, about whatever the topic of the website was.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. So, like, look, we've had this kind of engagement in some form of another for, you know, a couple of decades now.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that social media took that from being something that quote unquote nerds do. You know, I was called a nerd. You know, oh, what, you spend your Friday night on the internet?
Yeah.
Dude, shut up! Like, it's mad.
Yeah.
But now everybody spends their Friday night on the internet, and not just their Friday night, every fucking night, or I don't know. No, we're not going to blur that. Too bad. Every night. You know, and it's not just now that we're seeing these echo chambers exist, because I guess they probably always have, but on the scale that they exist on is massive.
Yeah.
Huge.
There's the same sort of stuff that's happening since the genesis of the internet is happening now.
Yeah.
But it's like, one thing that kind of like, I don't know, like, this is how I sort of like deal with the internet, and you might disagree.
No, go on, please.
But so, like, the only social medias that I really kind of use is Discord, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yep.
And there's a lot of debate as to whether or not like YouTube even really counts, even though it sort of does, because, you know, you're commenting and
you can comment.
Yeah, it sort of is, but it's not like Facebook where a lot of the time, like, you'll be talking to people in real time. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not its sole purpose. You know what I mean? Facebook was meant to connect people. YouTube was meant to host videos. The comments been added on afterwards.
Yeah, and so one thing I did get from like the film The Social Network is that how Mark Zuckerberg got that idea was because he wanted to put the life of a college student online, and that was what was cool about it. You know what I mean? In fact, I'm pretty sure, well, at least according to the movie, that you would have to have like a university number to register in the first place.
Yes, because wasn't it just going to be for universities?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Or
colleges, whatever.
But yeah, I think Mark Zuckerberg was the first, like, he was like patient zero in being seduced by the idea of being able to troll people and get away with it. And like, that's basically what it's become. But like, I just see them, like, social media should just be seen as a tool. And like any tool, like whether it be like a power tool or like driving a car or anything like that, you just got to like figure out ways that is responsible and that is healthy. So Facebook, like with Messenger, like I'm only talking to people, you know, obviously that I know and trust. And like I do join like groups and stuff like that. But I like if you do come across I think when it comes to online stuff, like it's okay to be a bit ruthless, where it's like if you feel uncomfortable with something, just get rid of it, you know?
I agree.
And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, because I find it kind of cute whenever I'm on a fan page for things like Rick and Morty or South Park like that, and you just see this one dude that for whatever reason, like he's grown tired of the fan base, or it's just not really their thing anymore. And so they feel the need to do this big presidential speech about why they're leaving and all this sort of stuff.
God, I hate that.
It's kind of like, okay, cool. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Dude that I've never heard of or spoken to before.
Exactly.
I'm devastated.
Yeah.
And like I think that's part of like the toxic side of social media, where it's just like I respect people's right to have an opinion, but it's not like,
of course.
just deal with the fact that not everyone's gonna like care that much. You know?
That's exactly it. And I think there is almost like a kind of like this air of like, well, no, I've made this comment, you know, people need to care about it. I've said it. And it's like, yeah, but everything you say in life isn't important. Everything you say in life isn't, sure, it's valid to some people and to yourself, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, people don't need to care. Not only do they not need to care, I don't know about you, but a lot of them, I just don't have the mental energy to care.
Yeah. Or even people that like take it one step further, like I might delve into something that I'm a little bit passionate about.
Please.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, anyone who knows me knows that I'm well into that sort of
Very
stuff.
much so.
And but I always kind of laugh at sort of like online discussions, because for anyone who's not particularly like part of the fan base, we must look like the most confusing group of people. Like, and for anyone looking in, because like the franchise is such a long series, and so like it's so long that it's like the fan base is intergenerational.
Of course,
like,
yes.
I'm not even part of the original generation that first started playing it. Like,
yeah, right.
The first game came out in '87. That was the year I was born.
Shit.
And the first game that I played was Final Fantasy VIII, which was when I was like 12 years old.
Yep.
So I was already pretty old then.
Yep.
But now, so I'm going back to like social media stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But so like what will happen is that now that newer games are coming out, and so you have these people that are like known as purists. Well, that's what they call themselves. Where like they're only really into like turn-based.
I see.
Stuff.
How it was. And it's just like, don't get me wrong, like that style of gameplay, like, it has its place. Like, it's not like, I don't really have a problem with it, even if Square Enix were to go back to go back to turn-based, like, I wouldn't have any issues with that. But, but I don't know, it's like you see on social media, like, you have these people come on, and it's like, once, like, the content that they were a part of to begin with, once it starts going in the direction that they don't agree with, they start accusing the fan base itself of being toxic. Yeah. And it's such a weird mindset, and I feel like that kind of, I see that a lot across the board or whatever, totally. Where it's just like, I don't know. It's like, and that's where like it does help to maybe occasionally do stuff where you are taking yourself out of your comfort zone a bit, and you're interacting with people that you don't necessarily agree with. Yes. Because like at least in my experience, like you can never really understand where someone's coming from unless you're actually having a conversation like we are now. I agree.
Because I mean, I think we are evolving a little bit to the point where, when humans interact, they only really pay attention. What people say is not so much what people are paying attention to. It's like body language and
there's more to it than just the words.
Yeah. So, like just this week at the university, like there was conversations that I felt very nervous about talking about.
Yep.
But if you feel nervous, like that's a good time to just maybe listen to what other people are saying. And the more you listen, the more you understand. The more you understand, the less you feel less you feel fear, I guess.
I think that's a good point, man. I think that's a really good point. And I think that's some good advice. I think it's quite ingrained in human nature to immediately defend our stance on something, you know what I mean? And it's quite within our nature to feel kind of defensive when we're confronted with something that might challenge our ideologies. But you're 100% right that uncomfortability is something that I think more people need, including myself, need to learn to be able to live with. And from that, like you said, I think we'll have more mutual understanding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because those conversations that help us grow, they're not comfortable conversations. They're not easy. There's a lot of hard things out there, that we're going to talk about, whether that be political ideologies, religion, whatever. These things, there's always going to be something upsetting about them. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about them. Can we talk about them respectfully? Yes. Should we demonize others? No. But I find that we don't quite, as a society, perpetrated especially by social media, we don't quite get to that point where we can have that respectful dialogue. Anyway, we're approaching that time of the day, folks. Look, this could have easily gone on for another hour. We've clearly got a good dialogue going on here. But we'll leave it there for this week.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks
very
TJ.
much, Wolf.
Yeah.
Great time as always, and hope you folks have a good time listening, and we'll see you next week. Yo!